Here is a more detailed, immersive rewrite with no headings and no reuse of issues in the phrasing. I kept the tone dark, atmospheric, and continuous, just as you requested. Where are you listening from? Tyler's screams still live in the parts of my mind I didn't know existed, sharp, wet, animal sounds that cut through every wall I've ever built. I hear them even now as I sit in the hospital hallway, my hands strangely steady, my heartbeat an emotionless flatline. The fluorescent lights above me flicker like they're frightened to stay on, buzzing faintly as if whispering warnings. I look down at the dark flakes drying beneath my nails, his blood already stiffening, and I can't decide when my face stopped knowing how to show anything human. My phone vibrates once in my palm. One message. 8 words. A number I haven't touched in years. Say the name, we'll make it disappear. The timing is calculated. Too exact to be chance. I inhale once, slow and measured. The antiseptic stench in the hallway tries to bury the memory of gunpowder still clinging to the back of my throat. It fails. None of this is coincidence. This is the sound of a door unlocking. The sheriff's laugh replays in my head, clicking in pieces like loose metal. He said nothing before the first shot, but before the second, his tongue tapped the roof of his mouth twice. A practiced beat. A rhythm. And when he lowered the gun, he didn't look angry. He looked satisfied, like a man reminding me of my place. His eyes said it clearly, you're small. I decide who stands. But something else has been gnawing at me longer than Barnes's smile. The speed. The coordination. The way the entire department snapped into a polished lie within hours. Reports polished. Statements aligned. The union rep stepping inside the hospital before the gurney even cooled. Their faces too smooth, too trained. Every time one of them said regrettable incident, I felt something inside me shift. Not crack. Shift. Because I've spent almost 2 decades analyzing deception. I know the twitch behind a lie. I know the tone of a practice story. And all of theirs were flawless. Too flawless. Flawless means controlled. Controlled means protected. And protection like that comes from someone higher than Barnes, someone who already knew exactly who I used to be. I don't confront any of them. Not yet. Anger is noisy, and noisy men don't survive long. Quiet men do. I request the incident report. They tell me it's being finalized. I nod. I ask for body cam footage. They say the cameras malfunctioned. I smile like I believe them. And then I start digging the old way, the way I did before missions, silent, surgical, invisible. Phone records first. I cross-reference timestamps. Barnes wasn't even assigned to the call. He was summoned 5 minutes before the shooting by a number wiped from every public database. Curious. Next, hospital entries. A deputy signed himself into restricted areas the moment Tyler was wheeled inside. He didn't speak to doctors. Didn't speak to nurses. Just lurked near the operating rooms, watching, waiting, and then left without logging out. Then DNA analysis. Gunpowder residue from 2 weapons on Tyler's clothes. Barnes carries only 1 issued Glock. So, who fired the second shot? I move on to court records. Barnes had 3 excessive force cases, all dismissed by the same judge, with identical phrasing, like someone copy-pasted justice into a template. Piece by piece, the picture begins to sharpen. Barnes didn't just lose control. Someone had been shielding him long before Tyler ever crossed his path. And someone had already planned for the aftermath before Tyler even hit the ground. The truth arrives in a handful of pixels, security footage from a gas station a half-mile away. 10 minutes before the shooting. Barnes on the phone, leaning against his cruiser, smiling like he's listening to a joke. Then he nods and says, clear as day. Yeah. I'll make the boy kneel. My pulse doesn't jump. My jaw doesn't move. I simply breathe, save the video, and walk into Barnes's station like any grieving parent searching for answers. He spots me and smirks. Something you need? I place my phone on the counter and press play. His expression melts in stages, confidence dissolving into confusion, confusion into terror. When the clip ends, his lips open and close, words sputtering out like broken machinery. I don't. I raise a finger. Just one. Don't lie. You're not good at it. His mouth trembles. His eyes do the rest. I leave without another word. Revenge isn't about noise. It's about timing. I make one call. Not to kill. Not to threaten. Just to reveal. My old team has never needed explanations. They specialize in pressure, the kind that crushes a man without laying a single hand on him. Within 2 days, Barnes's hidden account surface. His union protections leak. His private calls get traced. And the judge who dismissed his cases is caught in a storm of forged signatures and falsified documents. Nothing illegal from our side. It's just truth dragged into daylight, and sunlight burns. At 3:14 a.m., Barnes calls me. His voice is paper-thin. You did this.
Why?
Why me? My tone stays flat. You shot my son. Then you laughed. I was told. There it is. The real wound. Told by who? I ask. Silence clings to the line. I hear a ragged breath, the sound of a man realizing the ceiling above him is collapsing. Your boy wasn't the target. The night holds still. My hand doesn't shake. My pulse doesn't falter. You're already finished, Barnes, I say quietly. I don't need to touch you. I end the call. The next morning, I watch Tyler sleep in his wheelchair, heavily sedated, his legs strapped into metal braces that look too large for his fragile frame. What remains of his knees barely resembles bone. But I feel no eruption of grief, no storm of fury, just a focused, cold resolve. Because Barnes was right. Tyler was never the intended mark. Someone else pulled the strings. Someone else chose my son as collateral. And whoever they are, they made a mistake so staggering it will find them everywhere they breathe. Not through bullets. Not through brutality. Through exposure. Through dismantling. Through truth honed into something sharper than violence. I stand, adjust the blanket slipping off Tyler's shoulder, and slide my phone back into my pocket. What would you have done in my place? If you want to hear where this goes next, follow for more.